about a moment when you were very young. Picture yourself clearly, small, innocent, full of curiosity and wonder. You reach out for love, reassurance, or comfort. But instead of warmth, you meet something else. Silence, rejection, maybe even shame. In that instant, a quiet decision is made within you, a hidden agreement between you and the world. Certain parts of you aren't welcome here. Certain truths must never be spoken again. Now imagine these parts of you as living things, small children you left behind, locked away in the cellar of your heart, waiting in the dark. They didn't disappear. They didn't fade. Instead, they grew louder, banging at the doors of your adulthood, whispering anxieties, doubts, and restlessness through the cracks in your carefully constructed life. What if every bit of your anxiety, every restless night, every feeling of emptiness is simply their way of reminding you they exist? Because what if surviving your childhood meant splitting yourself in two? This hidden fracture lies at the heart of so much inner turmoil, the uncomfortable feeling that we are incomplete, that something crucial is missing or wrong with us, that no matter what we achieve, we remain haunted by our own emptiness. Yet this wound isn't permanent, it's an invitation. It calls us to seek out the forgotten parts of ourselves and finally bring them home. Together, in this exploration, we'll discover how reclaiming the pieces of our soul we exiled long ago can bring us the wholeness, peace, and self-acceptance we've always secretly craved. Carl Jung, the great psychologist and philosopher of the unconscious, devoted his life to understanding exactly this kind of inner split. A gentle rebel in his own right, Jung wasn't interested in easy answers or quick fixes. Instead, he believed our emotional wounds hold profound wisdom, that our deepest healing lies not in escaping our darkness, but in bravely meeting it. It was Jung who first gave us the concept of the inner child, the tender, authentic, innocent self we abandon early in life, as well as the shadow, the repository of every trait, desire, or pain we've learned to hide. Until you make the unconscious conscious, Jung warned, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. His message is clear, if unsettling. The parts of ourselves we cast aside don't simply vanish. Instead, they become powerful hidden forces, shaping our relationships, our dreams, our fears, and our deepest longings. Jung invites us, gently yet insistently, to ask the most challenging questions of all. What if the person you're missing most in your life is the part of you that you left behind? What if everything you thought was wrong with you is actually everything that needs to be reclaimed? We live in a time defined by performance and projection, a digital age that seems almost designed to amplify our inner divisions. Scroll through any social media feed, and you'll see lives carefully curated down to mask the fractures beneath. Our culture rewards this, doesn't it? It encourages us to wear perfect masks, to chase validation through filters, likes, and endless approval. But behind every filtered image, behind every glowing success story, there is someone who feels secretly incomplete, afraid to show themselves for fear of being judged or rejected once again. Haven't you noticed how exhausting this is? How the weight of constant performance and approval becomes heavier each day? Isn't it true that despite all our progress, deep inside, many of us still feel strangely disconnected, like an imposter within our own skin? We move from distraction to distraction, achievement to achievement, relationship to relationship, always searching for something to fill the emptiness. But nothing ever quite does. Modern life offers endless opportunities for escape, yet very few for genuine reunion with ourselves. Each notification gives us a burst of dopamine, our brain's pleasure chemical, rewarding us for briefly forgetting our hidden wounds. Neuroscientists call this the hedonic treadmill, an endless cycle of craving, gratification, and emptiness. Psychologists like Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi warn us that the more we chase these fleeting pleasures, the further we drift from true happiness, authentic purpose, and lasting peace. The treadmill only speeds up, leaving us more anxious, depressed, and restless than before. This isn't just theory. It's a reality you probably know intimately. Have you ever scrolled through your phone late at night, seeking comfort or distraction, only to feel more isolated afterward? Have you ever achieved something important, a promotion, a relationship milestone, a goal you've chased for years, and found the victory oddly hollow? Why do we keep running toward things that never truly satisfy us, instead of turning inward to heal the wounds that drive us in the first place? Perhaps it's because facing these lost parts of ourselves is deeply uncomfortable, even painful. It requires us to look into the eyes of the child we once were and admit how long we've neglected them. It means acknowledging the shadow we've tried so hard to outrun, the anger, sadness, vulnerability, and fear we've learned to mask. Yet until we risk this reunion, we remain trapped, never fully present, forever wandering from ourselves. So, pause for a moment, right here and right now. Ask yourself honestly, what parts of you have you hidden away, believing the world couldn't accept them? What memories still haunt you quietly from the shadows of your childhood? And if you could finally face them, hold them gently, and welcome them home, how might your life begin to change? Carl Jung wasn't alone in recognizing this inner division. Across history, countless philosophers and thinkers have echoed his insights, illuminating just how deeply felt this problem is, and how universally human. Soren Kierkegaard, the gentle yet piercing philosopher of existentialism, once wrote, "The greatest hazard of all, losing oneself, can occur very quietly in the world, as if it were nothing at all." Kierkegaard reminds us how easily we drift away from our truth, slipping quietly into roles that society rewards, but which slowly suffocate our true essence. Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist who survived unspeakable horrors during the Holocaust, echoed a similar truth, declaring, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." Frankl understood deeply how life's deepest wounds, if ignored, don't disappear, but instead fester beneath the surface, emerging later as emptiness, anxiety, and despair. And then there is Erich Fromm, who warned that modern society often prefers the security of conformity and numbness to the risks and the beauty of genuine self-discovery. Fromm argued that by hiding parts of our souls, we sacrifice our vitality and aliveness for a hollow sense of safety. These aren't merely philosophical abstractions. We see their truth every day, perhaps in our own lives or the lives of those around us. Look closely, and you'll find endless examples of people suffering quietly beneath carefully maintained facades. Consider the friend who always smiles, always succeeds, always helps, but who privately battles a quiet, unspoken despair. Think about the co-worker who achieves incredible success, yet never feels good enough, who numbs their inner ache with endless work or alcohol or shallow relationships. These are real-world consequences of ignoring the wounded child and hidden shadow within. Depression masked as ambition, anxiety hidden behind perfectionism, loneliness camouflaged by endless social activities. We know this well, yet we rarely speak about it openly. Studies continually show skyrocketing levels of anxiety, depression, and burnout, even as our outward success and comforts increase. Social scientists point out a troubling paradox. In an age of unprecedented connectivity, we've never felt more isolated. Mental health crises among young people, burnout among adults, a quiet epidemic of loneliness. These are symptoms of a deeper fracture within ourselves, the collective result of generations taught to bury their truth rather than face it. The costs are clear, and they're not just emotional. Families fracture, friendships fade, and communities weaken when we cannot bring our authentic selves forward. We lose creativity, compassion, and courage, diminishing our ability to truly connect or feel joy. The child within remains locked away, desperate, unheard, while the shadow grows louder, disrupting our lives in subtle yet profound ways. But there is another path. It begins simply with awareness. Right now, ask yourself gently, where am I hiding from myself? In what ways do I silence my true voice? When do I abandon my needs to chase acceptance or approval? Begin to notice, not judge. Simply notice. When you slip into old patterns, when you reach for distractions rather than face uncomfortable feelings. Recognize these moments as invitations, gentle reminders from your hidden self that it's finally time to return home. Because the truth is, you cannot heal what you refuse to see. You cannot welcome home what you've never acknowledged is lost. What if by simply seeing yourself clearly, without shame, without judgment, you've already taken the first powerful step towards reclaiming the wholeness you've always longed for? Imagine now what might become possible if you could gently step into the darkness and cradle the parts of you left behind. Imagine no longer being a stranger to yourself, no longer hiding, no longer performing, no longer running from the quiet voice of the child who lives within you. Imagine freedom, not the superficial freedom of distraction or escape, but the deeper freedom of acceptance, the quiet strength found only in self-reunion. Imagine a life where authenticity is no longer a burden, but a gift, where joy is not a fleeting pleasure chased anxiously, but a calm presence found in moments of stillness. Imagine relationships deepened by vulnerability, courage rooted in compassion, creativity flowing from authenticity. Picture a reality where your restless searching is replaced by peaceful clarity, where every step forward is an act of self-love, and every quiet moment alone feels like a return home. This isn't an impossible dream. It's the promise of healing. And it begins gently, with your intention. You don't need grand gestures or radical transformations, only small, deliberate acts of compassion toward yourself. Begin with the simple habit of pausing each day for just a few minutes to ask yourself a single honest question. What do I genuinely feel right now? Listen to the answer without judgment, without trying to change it. Over time, you'll find this simple practice opens a channel back to your authentic self, quietly coaxing lost pieces of your soul back into the warmth of acceptance. Next, notice when you instinctively reach for distraction or approval, be it scrolling through your phone, saying yes, when your heart whispers no, or burying your emotions beneath busyness. Instead of immediately giving in, pause. Take just one slow, mindful breath. Feel what lies beneath the impulse. Even this brief awareness is a revolutionary act, an invitation for your hidden self to finally be heard. And perhaps most importantly, find gentle ways to reconnect with your inner child. Write a letter to the young you, the one still waiting quietly in the shadows, telling them they are seen, safe, and welcome. Take moments to remember the things you genuinely loved as a child, drawing, music, nature, laughter, and slowly reintroduce them into your life, not as luxuries, but as vital nourishment for your soul. These aren't quick fix or superficial hacks. They're gentle, steady steps toward true wholeness, small acts of bravery that will quietly rebuild the trust you lost with yourself so long ago. Because the truth is, the path back to yourself is not an easy journey, but it is profoundly beautiful. It's a walk through shadows, yes, but those shadows are yours, waiting only for your acceptance. As Carl Jung wisely reminded us, I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. In the beginning, you had to split yourself to survive. Now, your greatest act of courage is choosing to become whole once again. The child within you is still there, waiting patiently. The shadows that once frightened you now hold the keys to your freedom. The chains are invisible, but they can be broken. So, ask yourself gently, deeply, and honestly, will you choose to stay split or to finally become whole? If these words echoed quietly inside you, leave a comment below with the phrase, "The child waits in shadows." By writing this, you signal that you've heard the hidden call and that you're ready to answer. Share your reflections, your stories, the quiet truth you've kept hidden. I'll be reading closely. because this channel is about the subtle, unseen shifts that happen deep within us. If you've felt something stir, don't let this be the end. There's more waiting for you. The next video is another step inward, a deeper dive into truths you might already sense but haven't fully explored. It's waiting quietly for you. All you have to do is begin.